Hey everybody, welcome to New Year's resolutions. The resolution for today is become emotionally mature. Today is January 25th. We're almost done with the resolutions month. So, what do I mean with becoming emotionally mature? Becoming emotionally mature means that you will be emotionally intelligent, that whatever other people says or do that can possibly affect you is not going to affect you anymore. It's not going to be a factor that you need to be depending on. So, what do I mean by for married people, when you have a significant one that is leaving to work and they are not kissing you before they are leaving because you're mad at each other, right? You are resenting that they are not kissing you goodbye. So what do you do to don't feel that pain or that resentment because they didn't say goodbye to you because you are mad at each other and you've been arguing? Is that you tell your significant one, well, just don't kiss me anymore. Whenever you leave, because then when we are mad, I feel bad that you don't kiss me before you leave. So why do we need to be affected by it, and why is it that we need to judge what people is doing or not doing for us, right? So many times it's our need to control, the necessity that we have of controlling others and telling people what to do, and it needs to be my way or it's the highway, right? It's either my way or the highway. So what is the need that we have to control people is that we want to make sure that things and people are the way we want them to be. Otherwise, we are not happy. And once you let go of the attachments you have with things and people, then you will be able to become emotionally mature. And why do I say that? Why is a necessity for us to pursue? Is because any comment that anyone says about you, any way that people refers about you, is not going to affect you in the way that is going to hold you back. Whatever people might say about you or comment about you or refer um, from you is not what is going to stop you from doing or becoming whoever it is that you want to become or be or do. Many times in life, we are in processes where we are learning, we are still working on our craft, we are still developing our personality, we are still developing some kind of maturity, right? It's like a plant. It has a process. It's planted, then it's growing, then it's giving fruits, then it's getting dry, on the autumn, and then there's winter and it's getting dry, and it's gonna come back again to have leaves and fruits again. So we are like that, right? Nature is a mirror of who we are as individuals, as people. So what happens when it matters so much what people say or do to you is that you are like a child to that person or to that situation, where you don't take it in a way where you're gonna get a positive outcome. You're not gonna learn from it. So what happens when we don't learn from situations in life is that we keep attracting the same situation to our life. If it's a partner or significant one or a specific type of boss, we're gonna go to another job and we're gonna find another person, maybe even the opposite sex, that treat us just like it, because we haven't learned to detach from um, emotionally being affected to what people say or do, what people say about you, what people do to you, right? We don't seem to move on and we don't seem to forgive. So what is the process to forgiving people is understanding where are they coming from, how are they feeling, and how can they possibly feel about you comparing to the way they are at the specific moment, comparing to their life situations, comparing to probably something that you are doing that they were not allowed to, that it was something forbidden, or it was something that when they were your age, there was like no chance that they were allowed to do what you are doing. So many times in life, the freedoms that we get and the abilities and the allowances to do things or to behave in certain ways are forbidden, right? People don't like that. People want to take control of situations. So what happens when someone's actions affect you to the point where you cannot sleep, you're not feeling well, you are depressed, you're constantly in pain, where you have symptoms in your body, and you just don't feel like you are worth it. You don't feel that you are worth to be loved. You don't feel worth it of happiness, right? And you pretty much depend or are waiting on approval, right? When we are so dependent on approval, is not a maturity, emotional behavior, because you are waiting on someone to say that you are good enough when you already know that you are good enough. Why do we need to depend on people? And it's typically happening when we fall in love, when we love someone so much that we care so much about what they say about us, right? Many times what people say is how they feel. If someone is feeling sick, if they're mad, if they're a rush, if they're hungry, people tend to be moody. You're not gonna get the best out of people. We have many colors. We are just like the rainbow. Sometimes we can be white, sometimes we're gonna be black, sometimes we're gonna be red, sometimes we're gonna be yellow, green, you name it, purple, right? Purple, we're gonna be dreamers. Yellow, we're gonna be enlightened, but we're also gonna be yellows. Green, we're gonna want to go forward, but we're also gonna be immature, right? And you can associate any kind of characteristic to a specific color. And but what I mean by is that a range of behaviors and circumstances and the way we are perceived by others is just like that. It's like the colors of the rainbows. It's all these shades that also have light and also have highlights, but also have shadows, right? Like the sky is not completely clear. It has clouds. Sometimes the clouds are white, sometimes they're gray, sometimes they're black, right? And you see the sky changing colors. The morning is one color, during the day, or if it's rainy, and then in the afternoon with the sunset, you see all those beautiful colors. And even when the morning, early in the morning, you see all these beautiful colors. And we are just a reflection of that. We change throughout the day, we change throughout the seasons, we change throughout life, throughout aging, throughout processes, and what is happening in our life. If a major event is happening in your life, like a divorce, like a car accident, like economical difficulty, the loss of job, someone in your family being sick, yourself being sick or struggling with a project, those are aspects in life that makes us act in ways that sometimes we wish we didn't act it on or said things, right? So many times it's hard to work out with your shadow, that great part of you, that dark part of you, right? Working with our shadows. So how much we allow others to say or do to us many times as a reflection of how much we allowed ourselves to do or think it's okay to do to others, right? So many times behaviors that you see on people that don't make you happy or make you have to have a say in is because those are aspects that you also have. So many times the way of knowing ourselves is looking to our mirrors. What affects you about other people is some unresolved issue that you have within you. I remember one time I went to a training, and the speaker told us a story of a lady who they were making an exercise where people will be in front of each other, and they will be telling the other person what bothers them about their face, what aspect of their face bother the person in front of you. And they each had 2 minutes to tell the person, this bothers me about you, about your face, your facial expression, or a specific aspect of your face bothers me. So he told the story of a lady who did this exercise with a man, and she told the man, I don't like your mustache. So when they review what people told each other, she said, well, I don't understand this, because you said whenever we don't like an aspect on a person, is a mirror of us. And she says, I told the man that I didn't like his mustache, and I don't have a mustache. And the speaker told her, you do. And she said, no, I don't. And she says, well, tell me the man in your life whose mustache bothers you. And she says, it's actually my husband. My husband's mustache bothers me because when he kissed me, the hair of his mustache is too pointy, it's harsh. So it bothers me when he is close to my face, or he kisses me. So then the speaker told her, do you see? So you do have a mustache. You do have that aspect that bothers you, even though it's not something that you personally have, but it's someone who you interact with that has that aspect that bother you. So what happens when our parents have life situations or behaviors that embarrass us? When you see that behavior on another person bothers you, and it's not something that you are doing or will probably even do or are incapable of doing, but because one of your parents did it, that affected you so much, and it seemed to you that it was a wrong behavior that you were judging and you had to suffer because of it, it still bothers you, right? It's not probably something that you do, and probably something that you will ever do because of that experience, and you know how it feels to be affected by it. But to see someone doing it bothers you because it kind of cuts the wound that you had, that you haven't healed, that the situation brought you suffering when you were a little boy or a little girl. And it's not just parents, it's siblings, it's situations where we were abused, where we were taken advantage, where people made fun of us, where we were bullied. So all these behaviors that people do have affected us in some point of our life. So when we keep on seeing this kind of behaviors bothers us, and it's like it opens the wound that you haven't healed. So what do we need to heal those wounds is take a look at what bothers you, what behavior someone does that bothers you, and try to find the reason where did that came from. What was the event or circumstance that make that wound open for you? What opened that wound in you? So by you understanding what opened that wound that you haven't healed, or it hasn't healed completely, because when you cut yourself in a previous scar, it hurts more than if you cut yourself on a place where you haven't cut yourself before. I don't know if you have that experience, but it is very easy for you to identify it like that. So it hurts to cut yourself where you previously had a scar, because sometimes that scar is deeply wounded. So the skin on top of you, let's say I cut my arm, right? I made a cut over here. So the skin inside that wound, probably underneath the top of my skin is not closed, is not completely healed. So what happens if I cut myself right there again? Is gonna hurt me more than if I cut myself on a new uh, part of my arm, because that arm hasn't been injured, right? So having an injury for the first time, it is painful, but if you don't make the work to help the healing and to cooperate with the process, because our nature is close up the wound, right? Like Wayne Dyer explained it, our nature is close up the wound. But if we close up the wound, then we're not gonna go and tell people, "Oh, look what happened to me! This big scar, and I got injured." And people is gonna say, "Oh, poor thing." They're gonna have compassion, and it's gonna be a topic we're gonna be talking about. Instead of going with our nature, which tells us close up the wound, and the wounds in our lives are those circumstances that makes us cry, that makes us mad, that makes us react, that makes us act in violence, that makes us curse, that makes us react in anger. And it seems to be a circumstance that we haven't fully healed, that it still affects us when someone pushes the button, right? When someone pushes you to the limit where you have to curse, you have to be mad, you have to yell, right? So being emotionally mature is a work in progress, because as much as you work on it, there will be new aspects, there will be new comments, there will be new ways of addressing circumstances that are going to push that button, right? You didn't know it was a wound that haven't healed completely, that inside of the wound there is still a part that is injured, right? So what is it that is bothering you, that is a mirror of something that already bothered you in the past? And identifying that will help you in becoming emotionally mature and de-attached to others' opinions about you, to others' behaviors towards you. So our need to control others is a need of wanting them to call in the time we want to be called, wanting them to get here at the exact minute we said, otherwise we are mad, right? And I do understand productivity in business, and you want people to be there on time, but what I understand about spirituality is that the universe functions in harmony. You don't want everybody to come at the same time because that will create a wait, and people know that. People seem to know the right moment to arrive, and even when someone arrives late, they are still on time because the energy of the event or the circumstance require people to keep on arriving, right? So when we are pushy about the time of people, sometimes we are pushing the lines of what they need to do before getting to the event or the circumstance and even getting to our lives. When we are pushing someone into our lives in a way where they are not ready, we are speeding the process, but we are not letting the people be ready and mature to the kind of person we need to be in that relationship because we are pulling them, right? And pulling someone is tiring. And sometimes people has a hard time growing, and you just keep on pulling this person, right? And you think you can carry them, but eventually you pulling people and carrying people, it's exhausting. There is a point where you're gonna resent it, and you're gonna um, hold it over their roof. You're gonna tell them, oh, because of you I feel this way, because of you I did this, because I had to deal with you, I've been struggling, now I'm sick, now I have this, I have that, or because I need to help you, my life is not so much of how I would like it to be because I'm taking out of my possibilities to help you, right? So we are resenting when we are pulling people. So a way of controlling is also that, hurrying people to probably say yes to be with us, probably say yes to live with us, probably say yes to marry us when they're not ready, right? And many times I do understand that there is an urgency of doing things, but also you need to be willing to understand that the universe is built intelligent, and everyone has their own guidance and their own ways of doing things. So when we're able to understand that people has their own ways of doing things and they have their priorities, and probably something came up at the last minute that was unexpected, and many times it's issues we don't know how to deal with, like for a woman can be a car breaking down and she doesn't know how to fix it. For a man, it could be probably forgetting something that they needed, or probably not being able to do three different tasks at the same time, right? It's not like anyone is incapable or they are not intelligent enough or they are not good enough. It's just sometimes we have different abilities, right? We are good at some aspects in life or situations, but we're not so good at another ones, right? So what is our strengths that we can be able to get ourselves out of situations? Well, those we will manage, but the ones that are hard for us, the ones that are unexpected, are gonna hold us back. So I don't think anyone is coming late because they want to. They have been dealing with situations where they need help, and many times what happens is that people don't ask for help. They don't think they have someone to call, and it's very sad not to have anyone to call, or not having the money to hire an organization or a service that does it for you. I remember when I started having a relationship with my ex-boyfriend. I've been a single mom for like 15 years now. So I remember talking to him about I had AAA. And he said, why? I said, because I don't have a husband. I don't have someone I can relate onto when situation happens with my car. If I need to change a tire, I don't know how to do that. And I am a woman. It's not something I am expected to know how to do. And there are just some aspects that require strength that we don't have it, or we don't know how to do it. Our strength is not as strong as men. And there are women out there that are strong, that exercise, and they can be stronger than men, but the majority of us don't have that muscle built naturally, unless we exercise, unless we really do what it takes. And part of building our muscles is when we have kids. You have a kid that is growing, and you're holding that kid, and they just grow so big, where you're hugging the kid, and their feet are up to your knees, or even almost close to your feet, because they grow so big. So we do carry, a lot when we carry babies, when we carry everything what we need in work situations. But normally, if you think on lifting a vehicle or doing this heavy task that we don't normally do, we don't feel like we are capable, right? So what can be stopping someone can be a situation that they are unfamiliar, that they don't think they can handle, right? They get stressed out. And if they don't have someone to call or a service that they have paid, they're going to be held back. So we need to be understanding and let people explain themselves what happened, right? And sometimes when you're calling someone and they are in the middle of something, it seems like they're not paying attention to you, because they're paying attention to what they're doing at the moment. And when we want the attention, and we want to be heard, and we want to be acknowledged, that can feel like a cold call, right? Like a cold call where they're not caring for you, or they're not even hearing you, or you are their family or someone important, and they're not giving you the importance. And what happens many times is that people don't tell us, I'm busy right now. And if you are someone who is very jealous, you're gonna be, why are you so busy? Why I cannot call you? What, blah, 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 blah. And you get all around worked out about the situation that you're not being paid attention. And what happens is that sometimes people needs the span of attention to whatever it is that they are doing. Call it driving, call it dealing with buying something, call it with paying, call it with talking to someone, call it by finding a place that they've been wanting to visit, or whatever it is, right? Or looking at someone that they're just amazed. So what happens when we are very jealous is that we don't let people enjoy themselves. And I've seen it many times when I serve tables. If the man looks at me or compliments on me, the wife will be super mad. And I used to have that feeling with my ex-husband, because he will compliment a lot of people and he wouldn't compliment me. So the reason why women get so mad about the husband complimenting another woman is that she doesn't get that recognition. She doesn't get that kind of attention. So she's craving it from him. Maybe men where she goes to work, or where she goes to visit, or activities that she does, she gets complimented. But she doesn't get complimented. She's not seen by the husband like that. So that's what makes women mad, that they don't have that kind of attention. They don't have that kind of reaction that usually happens at the beginning of the relationship, where the man is trying to get them, but then it stops. It seems like they don't get it anymore. So this jealousy comes from us expecting a person to keep acting in a way that we feel that we crave, right? So when are we able to release those needs is not being dependent of that a specific person gives me attention or not. So how do you do that? You love yourself. You know that you are worth it. You know that you are beautiful. You know that you are handsome. You know that people is looking at you, that you're attractive. Your attractiveness is something that you need to be aware of. And know that even if you were left by the significant one, there will be someone interested in you. But you need to believe that is possible. You need to believe that there is people who wish they could even talk to you, or be your friends, or have the certainty that you will say yes to launch to them, you know. And some people don't even come close to you because they see that they will be rejected. You'll say, mm-mm, no, thank you, not even interested, not even interested in saying hello, right? And that happens many times. We are seen that way by people. But when we are in situations where we are wounded, we don't pay attention. We don't even lift up our eyes. I remember a time in my life where I will be walking and looking at the floor. And this is after my divorce. And my sister will say, people is looking at you and you don't even pay attention. And I didn't care. So what happened is that My emotional state was that I didn't want it to attract anybody like my past relationship, because there was so much suffering, so much pain, so much unfulfilling needs that I had that were never fulfilled by him. But I didn't thought that I could fulfill those needs myself, right? I didn't look for the way to fulfill them. Some of them I was able to, but some other ones I still resented him for not fulfilling those needs. If I would have known what I know now, probably my relationship would have been better, or I probably would have divorced earlier, right? Because situations in life are put into place at a specific age where you only have certain knowledge, right? It's like when you have a kid at being in your 20s, it's not the kind of wisdom that you have when you are in your 30s or 40s, or maybe even people that has kids on their 50s or 60s, like men. I'm talking about men. Women is not so often. It's like miracles if someone has a baby after 50. Mid 40s is still kind of acceptable and normal, but like over 50s are miracles. But there are men who are old, old I call over 60, and that is old to have kids, like old to be in business, old to be alive. I don't think is ever old enough. I believe that as people get older, they get wiser. At least I see that on me. I see that on people that I know, how clever they are, how much their abilities to do things, and how smart they are, how smart they get as they age. So you see examples of people who are capable of doing things that you don't even know how to do, and they do it so fast they don't even realize. So when you get surrounded yourself with overachievers and with people who is very active, being active and just keep on doing activities that improve your brain functions, keeps you young and keeps you motivated and keeps you being someone that people want to follow. The people is amazed to see how you do things. So how are we gonna age into someone like that is starting being emotionally mature? Because when we become mature emotionally, we don't depend on anyone's actions or behaviors or comments or ideas about us to be able to express the fully expression of who we are as an individual, as a human being, as a child of God, right? We are unable to express all those qualities because we don't know that we are lights. We are someone with a purpose. We think that our life depends on being a good dad, a good mom, a good son, a good daughter, a good sibling, a good example, a good leader, a good business person, a good rich person, rich man or woman, right? And none of that is our original design. Our original design came with the purpose, and the purpose is to illuminate the world. How are you illuminating the world with your own light? Right? So we are valuable. Each of us have our own lights, and that beam of light can change into many colors. Like I said at the sky earlier, right? We have a variety of uh, seasons and circumstances and processes that we go through in life according to our circumstances, according to what we know, according to the opportunities we think we have. Sometimes we have resources at our own homes that we're not even using because we're not cleaning up our spaces. We're not even finding stuff that we already bought that we will need and we haven't find it because we are so depressed that we don't even want to move or get out of bed, right? At some point in our life, we need to get the message. We need to do our part. And life goes by so quickly. How do you want your life to be? And many times, a way of feeling blessed is cleaning up your spaces because you realize there are new things you haven't even used, you haven't even unpacked, and they have been waiting for you to touch them. That's how your soul has been waiting for you to be in touch with it. And that's how love has been waiting to hug you, right? You need to be able to provide to yourself love and be able to love yourself, and don't expect it from anyone that is unable to give it to you because they don't have it. They don't even love themselves the way you love yourself. So the amount of love that you have for yourself is what is going to make you be able to taste to Tell someone, I love you. I love you. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.